Good evening and welcome to episode 17 of Talk a Good Game. The West Ham Leicester game literally finished about 20 minutes ago and we're doing our show right now. I have absolutely nothing written down in front of me, so this show's a bit worse than normal. You know why. I get my excuses in early. I am, of course, Redhammer from Hammer's Chat. We have Gonzo from Hammer's Chat. Good evening, Gonzo.
Good evening, Redhammer.
Do you always wear a football top for watching football?
I didn't. Yeah, I always put it on so much football. It's for you, mate. I put it on especially for you and for this fine podcast.
Well, I like your dedication. I've done nothing for it. I've not even written anything down. Charlie, good evening to you as well.
Hello, you alright?
Not too bad. Well, I could be a lot better actually. But we'll come to that in a second. Gonzo, lineup. You must have been pretty happy with that lineup, were you?
Yeah, very, very good. It's just so refreshing after what we've seen the last few years, isn't it, really? Particularly, the Nottingham Forest game sticks in my mind. I think what was evident when you saw the lineup was who he considers his three most important players to be. We saw no Sacco, no Payet, no Reed, but in spite of that, it was a pretty lively and pretty impressive lineup.
Yeah, Charlie, did you share that? Were you happy with the lineup? Because you were wanting to see a few changes. You were on the preview show with me and the debutant Tom. I think all three of us wanted to see a few changes, a few more youngsters in there. I was a wee bit disappointed not to see Oxford, in all honesty. I was hoping to see him. I think he deserves it, actually. I don't think he'd done all that much wrong to be completely shunted out. What was your opinion, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm the same. Oxford was sort of 50-50 on whether I wanted to see him, because I'm thinking in my head, do I want to re-throw him into the last game he played, because that was against Leicester and all those sort of things. But yeah, I was pretty happy with it. I wanted to see Cullen. Cullen was the big one for me, because I'm a bit worried that he's not going to get the time he needs this season to progress, because I thought he was really close to getting first-team football in pre-season. But the lineup overall was pretty good apart from that, yeah.
Gonzo, they scored. Someone with a name similar to Dildo scored pretty quickly. We were very sloppy at the early stages of the game, weren't we?
Yes, yeah, we were. But he was good. He looked really decent. I think they'll be pleased that they've got that new TV deal coming in, and I think their owners are quite rich. They'll hang on to him. But he was good. I think in the when he played previously in the last round, and yeah, he looked decent today. But I think particularly Collins was sloppy to start with, but grew into the game.
Yeah, Charlie, their goal came from Obiang thumping a clearance off a Leicester player 2 yards away, and it luckily fell for him. But do you think that summed up our defence over the whole night in a way?
Yeah, I wouldn't even say we were sloppy at the beginning. I'd say we were sloppy invariably throughout. We kept having periods of just complete sloppiness out of nowhere. And I think, again, I know I've said this to you personally. I don't know if we've said it on the show before, but I was under the impression that when Obiang came in, he was a box-to-box player, and we seem to have stuck him in the sort of base of the midfield just in front of the back four. And I don't know whether that's because Slaven Bilic thinks that's his best position or not, but I keep seeing him be put there, and I don't understand why. I think, especially with a game like today, maybe Noble would have been better suited in that position, although I know other people might disagree with me on that. Yeah, there was just sloppiness all over the shop today. Yeah.
Charlie, your favourite player, scored a goal. Well, kind of. You're probably not going to give it to Zarate, though, but I know...
Oh, no, don't... Okay, right.
A massive difference of opinion between you two on Zarate. Charlie, you have to admit, him and Lanzini linked up really well. Do you not think Zarate is one of our better performers actually on the pitch?
No. Okay, right. Zarate was not very good in the first half. He was... See, my problem with Zarate is that there's clearly ability there. There's something there, because occasionally I'll be getting really frustrated with his lack of doing anything, and then he'll pop up and do something like, "Jesus, where did you get that from?" And like his goal, I'm not sold on it being his goal, to be honest. I still think it was an own goal, but he just wasn't very. I don't think he was very good. And maybe other people disagree with me. I don't know. Gonzo's probably better placed to talk about Zarate than I am, and his opinions specifically with Lanzini. But yeah, no, he's rubbish, mate.
Let's switch over then, Gonzo. Your turn.
Got to buy a lottery ticket, haven't you, mate? You know, if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win. We heard it last season when he scored against Crystal Palace, and people said the keeper should have done better. We had it against Czech, against Arsenal. People said, oh, well, Czech, you know, he was diving to the wrong side. We had it in the European game where he got a deflection. He said, oh, he dribbled through some players. Oh, yeah, we got a deflection off the defender, and then it sort of carried it on through. And I've had it again tonight. Oh, well, you know what? It just keeps happening, doesn't it? And it's a little bit too much to be a coincidence. In terms of him linking with Lanzini, I thought it was excellent. And what I think is so nice is that we can lose a player like Payet. Well, not lose him, you know what I mean? For him to be rested for the game, whatever it was, and still have that creative hub. Listen, we've gone out tonight, but I'm not on that much of a downer about it. I really enjoyed watching the game tonight, and I think there's so much hope for the future, just in the way we were trying to knock the ball around and whatnot.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you there. I think we were quite poor tonight. I think Leicester fully deserved that victory. They should have probably had it wrapped up sooner. Can't remember Schwarzer having to make a save in all honesty, but Adrian pulled out save after save after save. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think he's a camera keeper. I think he sometimes makes it look a lot harder than it is. But tonight he made some fantastic saves. The finishing from some of the Leicester players was really poor. Schlupp and Mahrez at the very end there when they were both one-on-one just bottled it, I think. They played too close to Adrian. But you know, you see a lot of keepers dive out of the way because they're expecting the ball to go somewhere else, and then it ends up just rolling in. Charlie, what did you make of our overall performance then? Gonzo was happy with it. I'm not very happy with it. I would have, like I said on the previous show, I would have run at this cup. I'm very disappointed to go out. I agree with the lineup. I thought it was a strong lineup. I just don't think we were there. Leicester did to us what we did to Newcastle. They sat back. They were very organised. Said, "What have you got?" And we had absolutely no answers to their question. And they just kept hitting us on the counter attack. It's exactly what we did to Newcastle. We played into their hands. 60% possession in the first half. I don't think we did anything with it. And like you said, Zlatan had a stroke of luck. That's all he did. That's all we did the first half. We had that one shot with a stroke of luck, and that was it. Charlie, what was your thoughts on that performance?
First of all, I'll very, very quickly go back to the Zarate thing. The Arsenal goal was good. I think the rest of the Arsenal game he was crap, but the goal was good because he took it early. He forced his own luck in that situation. And that's what you're saying about, you know, you have to buy a lottery ticket to win it. You know, he does force his own luck occasionally. But I think he goes missing for such large periods of the game that coming up once in a while with something special is kind of pointless. Well, it's not pointless, but not enough. Anyway, I side on G with Redhammer on this one. I don't think we were good enough. I think we were in the first half. I think we kind of had an excuse for not being as incisive as we have been, and that's because we were playing Coward and Zarate, who both just come back from injuries and weren't 100% at the races yet. I think it was once in the second half we did look better, and there were times rather than periods of time, like specific occasions, where we did put together a really nice passing move and somehow get through. We'll get onto it earlier, but get onto it later. Sorry, but there's obviously some penalty things to talk about as well. But I don't know. I think it says a lot about how important Moses is. That by the end of the game, he was the only striker on the pitch, and he's not a striker. Do you know what I mean? He was playing up front by himself. We were looking for something that we just couldn't find. And we paid the price. I think we all saw it coming. Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about Mr. Referee, the last thing we'll talk about tonight. Before we talk about that, remember to subscribe to our channel. Just hit that button right now. Go to hammerschat.com. You can find all the links to all our social media and forum where there is discussion happening right now without us three on it. Lucky them. Do join in. Your opinion is very valued. You do not have to be a member to comment on the match thread, but it is free to join, so do join up. Gonzo, Mr. Referee, there was probably 3 penalty shouts. I don't know what your stream showed, but mine didn't really have any replays apart from the Noble incident. What did you think? I thought you had a good game, but I think the penalty incidents were very questionable. I thought Moses' 2 were... The second one especially I thought was pens. You got sandwiched. In Nobles, I think, could have been a pen. Maybe went down a bit easy, but there was contact. What did you think, Gonzo?
Well, you can't have it both ways, can you? I mean, we either... This is aiming at Charlie, to be perfectly honest with you. You can't have it both ways. We either didn't create any chances, didn't do enough to get through, or we did, and when we got through, we got hacked down and the referee denied us opportunities. So Yeah, I think the Moses one was definitely a penalty, and unlike you, I must have had a better stream than you did, because it had numerous replays of the Noble one, and the guy didn't get the ball. It was a penalty, and really to sort of then accuse Noble of cheating by giving him a yellow card was harsh again. But let's be perfectly honest, and going back to what you said earlier, Adrian had far more impact on the result tonight than that referee ever did, and I'm not a big one at looking at excuses. We would have got through. And sorry, just quickly, I know you do want to move on. Charlie spoke about Carroll in the second half. I think we were better when Carroll came off. We could only put Moses on there. Jelavic was cup tied. Sacco needed a rest because he runs around like a headless chicken. In a good way, and Valencia's injured as well, so we needed someone to part it. But as soon as Carroll came off, we were able to sort of pass and move, and the whole game changed. I'm not sure how much Carroll's going to fit into this system that seems to be developing under Bilic.
Charlie, referee, what's your thoughts?
It's difficult because there were obviously quite a few decisions that people would think didn't go our way. The 3 penalty shouts, specifically the Noble getting a yellow card, was bizarre, but I think he did okay. It's difficult when there's quite big decisions to be made and they get them wrong. The tendency is to say that they had an awful game. I think overall it was actually okay. Nothing outstanding, but all right. But yeah, like I said, when you've got the 3 penalty shouts and people were telling me their last goal was offside as well, I didn't see the replay like you, Red. I probably didn't have the right stream to watch that on, but I think he had an okay game overall, to be honest. But it is what it is. Well,
that's the opinions of me, Gonzo and Charlie. You've obviously got one. Pop onto the forum, hammerchat.com, click on the forum, and you're on. Free to join. We'll be back tomorrow night with our preview of the West Ham v Norwich game, and it could be a big one for Hammerchat. You'll find out next week. Good night.